This is Copper 90, and these are our top 10 worst signings of the season. At 10, AHMED MUSA. Leicester fans must have been purring at the beginning of the season. Premier League holders, Champions League football at the King Power around the corner, and big names coming through the door. Everything looked rosy. One of their big signings looked particularly exciting. AHMED MUSA joined the Foxes from CSKA Moscow for a little over 16 million and made an instant impact. Scoring 2 goals on his debut against Barca in Stockholm, it looked like the reigning champions had found the perfect strike partner for Jamie Vardy. But since his debut, the fairy tale has died for MUSA, amassing only 4 more goals and recording 0 assists. He has yet to score since early January and has fallen down the pecking order behind Vardy, Slimani and Okazaki. At 9, it's Adnan Januzaj. This season has been one to forget for Sunderland fans and players, and in particular, one Adnan Januzaj. Once dubbed the next big thing, Januzaj scored 2 goals in his first start for Manchester United back in 2013 during the David Moyes era, including a spectacular volley past Westwood in the Sunderland goal. After a spell of average performances for United and Dortmund on loan, the Belgian linked up with old boss Moyes at the Stadium of Light. After a spell on the sidelines due to injury and even more average to poor performances, the 22-year-old, who was set for a bright future, is without a league goal and is subject to booing from the home fans on a daily basis. At 8 is SAIDO BERAHINO. It was certainly a toss-up between which Stoke City flop would make the list out of Wilfred Boney and January arrival SAIDO BERAHINO. The latter finally got the move he'd been waiting ages for, and yet he still hasn't reached the heights he did in the 2014-15 season. Since joining Stoke for 12 million in January, SAIDO's been snatching at chances, and after a dozen Premier League appearances, he's still yet to hit the back of the net. That and the fact that Boney has actually managed to hit the back of the net, albeit only twice, means there was only one winner. You're lucky, Wilfred. At 7, Borja Bastón. Swansea love a Spanish striker with La Liga pedigree. Michu, Llorente and even more recently their record signing Borja Bastón. Having dropped around 15 million on the striker, Swansea and their fans expected goals galore from the Spaniard, but instead were returned with only 1 goal in 16 appearances. If our maths is right, that equates to £15 million per goal. He now has a permanent place on the Swansea bench, and when he does get the chance to enter the field, as expected, he never delivers. At 6, it's Patrick Bamford. Patrick Bamford impressed on loan at Middlesbrough in their 2014-15 Championship campaign, scoring 17 times. And despite 2 disappointing Premier League loan spells the season after, Burnley took a punt at the start of the season, taking the forward on loan from Chelsea. After his loan spell came to an end, Bamford still hadn't managed a top-flight goal. But that didn't stop a relegation-threatened Middlesbrough splashing £5.5 million to sign him as their saviour. He wasn't. Since joining Borough and throughout his loan spell at Burnley, Bamford failed to start a single game, and with Borough's relegation confirmed, he could be waiting a while to have another pop at finally scoring a Premier League goal. At 5, Loris Karius. Jurgen Klopp saw the summer as the perfect opportunity to find his #1 goalkeeper, someone who he could rely on week in, week out between the sticks, with the consistency that Mignolet lacked. When Loris Karius joined, that's what Liverpool thought they'd had. Up until December, Karius was having a mixed start to his Liverpool career, trying to find his feet in the Premier League. But after 2 awful displays against West Ham, and in particular the Liverpool collapse against Bournemouth, the faith in Karius has been lost, and he had to settle with watching Mignolet in goal instead from the bench. At 4, it's Jordan Ibe. You know you've been a disappointing signing when your Wikipedia page only has 2 sentences on your debut season at the club. Well, that's exactly what Jordan Ibe has been. Disappointing. The former Liverpool Academy graduate, who many expected to shine in the gap vacated by Sterling, has since flopped hard. He left Anfield in search of more first-team starts and found just that at Bournemouth under Eddie Howe. But after 23 appearances for the Cherries, Ibe has had no impact at all, scoring none, assisting none, and having only 1 shot on target. Shocking. At 3 is Claudio Bravo. When Pep joined Man City, he set about creating a team to play possession football. One player who was desperate to capture was Claudio Bravo. The Chilean international joined Man City from Catalan giants Barcelona for 17 million and was thrust straight into the starting lineup to replace Joe Hart, whom Guardiola deemed not good enough. In his debut against cross-city rivals United, Bravo was at fault for Zlatan's goal and was heavily criticised for his performance. Since then, the criticism has snowballed and the poor performances and mistakes have continued. He even went a whole month without making a single save. With 33 saves in 22 games and only 5 clean sheets, Joe Hart must now be looking good to Pep, with 84 saves in 22 games and 5 clean sheets. At 2 is Simone Zaza. Deciding which West Ham signing would make the list was tough. Arbeloa, Torre and Snodgrass all deserved a place, but we can only pick one, so Simone Zaza takes the spot. Zaza flew into East London after representing Italy at Euro 2016, and crazy penalty run-ups aside, the West Ham faithful expected big things from the Juventus striker. Sadly for Slaven Bilic, Zaza was unable to emulate his Serie A form in the Premier League and failed to find the back of the net on a single occasion. After jumping ship for Valencia, Zaza himself took the blame, claiming he failed to adapt to life in England. However you look at it, it just didn't work, like a lot of West Ham's woeful signings this season. At 1, it's MUSA Sissoko. When Spurs signed MUSA Sissoko from Newcastle on deadline day, many fans were okay with the deal. Then they saw the price. A club record £30 million. A hit and miss player during his spell at St James's Park, MUSA Sissoko's reputation has crumbled at Spurs, as he still waits for a good day at the office for Tottenham. Sissoko's managed just over a handful of starts for Spurs in the league and is yet to get on the score sheet. Don't expect him to get many more starts at Spurs, as it looks like Pochettino is hoping to cut his losses. While the club obviously denied it was a panic buy, MUSA Sissoko's move is another example of a stupid transfer that could only be possible on deadline day. That was our top 10 worst signings of the season. If you think we've missed any, leave a comment below and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Copper 90.